On today's video, we got rumors of JuJu Smith-Schuster coming back to KC and a Rashee Rice suspension update. Let's talk about it.
We're all chiefed up and we're back with another podcast for that ass. Make sure to hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the Super Bowl, baby.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Steve, let's jump right into it. JuJu, former Chiefs wide receiver on the verge of becoming available for a reunion, says Joe Summers of KC Kingdom. He goes on to say former Chiefs wide receiver JuJu, who led Chiefs wide receivers in yards in 2022 en route to a Super Bowl, is reportedly on the verge of being cut by the Patriots following a disappointing 2023 campaign. Given the Chiefs' problems at the position, could a reunion be in the works? Steve, what do you think? Is Brett Veach going to kick the tires on JuJu again, or is that bum knee a problem?
I think this is more wishful thinking for JuJu Smith-Schuster as opposed to the Chiefs trying to get another receiver. Mike, we've been talking all offseason about how the Chiefs have a predicament. Are they going to take 7 wide receivers again just to be able to keep all the young, good talent they have on the team?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think they're going to. I think they're sticking with 6. They already have their work cut out for them, trying to figure out which 6 to put on the 53-man. I don't think there's room for old man JuJu.
There's not, man. There's just not. This is what he did last year. 29 passes caught in 11 games because he was battling that knee injury the entire season. And he asked, does JuJu still have some juice left? Steve, I don't think JuJu is a number 1 wide receiver in this league anymore. He's not even in the conversation. I don't think he's a number 2 wide receiver in this league anymore. He might be a serviceable to above average number 3. But the thing is, we have way too many chefs in the kitchen right now, and there's not much cooking going on. Let's be honest.
Dude, we're all excited to see what these new guys are going to do. We got Hollywood Brown now, who is a veteran, and then we went and drafted Xavier to go along with Rashee Rice. We are not looking back. That is not happening. Brett Veach is looking forward to the future with this organization and how they can keep this dynasty going, baby. He's not worried about the past.
I'm ready to see the new guys. I'm ready to give the Nico Remigijos a chance. I'm ready to give all these guys a shot. I'm ready for Kadarius Toney to figure it out, and hopefully Sky Moore can pull it together. But another wide receiver that's having some offseason issues, we've got a little bit of an update here. An insider explains why the Chiefs' Rashee Rice may not be suspended, Steve. This is what we had said earlier. The Chiefs were likely planning on not having a second-year receiver, Rashee Rice, for part of the 2024 season given his legal mishaps. But according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the multiple-game suspension the team was seemingly bracing for may not come. He was quoted to say, "Most people I've talked to around the league believe that he will get a multi-game suspension at some point, given all that's gone down. This is a lengthy legal process, which means he could start the season, actually play games, or finish the entire year, because the league likes to see the full scope of things before they make a decision on how many games a player might face." Fowler pointed to a similar situation in which New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara played the entire season in 2022 after being charged with battery and was suspended for games the following year. We've said this time and time again, and everybody said, "You guys are crazy. What are you talking about?" Steve, it just makes sense.
Absolutely. The league has to know what they're dealing with. They have to see what he's actually charged with, what sticks, what are we punishing. Right. We don't know yet. So, yeah, it's definitely going to happen. It'll all depend on when all that gets wrapped up in court, correct? So it just depends. It could be by the midseason. It could be next year. I'm not for sure, but I'm with Fowler. I don't think the NFL goes out there and tries to suspend Rashee Rice for a certain amount of games without knowing what went down.
Look, he's got some civil suits coming. He's got 2 people right now suing him upwards of $10 million. I don't remember how much it is, but it's a lot of money. He's also got his lawyers that he's trying to pay right now, but he pays his lawyers to push this off. He needs these lawyers to keep delaying things, and they're going to get it pushed past the season, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to be touched this season unless Goodell goes off script and does something different. That's my opinion, and that's the way I see it.
Totally agree with it. And something else to keep in mind, they brought up Alvin Kamara as an example. He only served 3 games when all was said and done for beating a man into the ICU. Think about that for a second. So Rashee Rice might not get this monstrous suspension that people are thinking is coming. We just have to wait and see how it plays out, and I'm being hopeful about it.
100%. Our boy Nick Bolton sat down with the Draft Network's Justin Mello, Steve, and they asked him, entering the contract season in 2024, this is your 4th year on your rookie deal, one that you've outperformed. Are you hoping to negotiate an extension before the end of the season? And this is what Nick Bolton had to say. Honestly, no. I don't want to talk about an extension before camp. I want to focus on getting through this season. We have one goal in mind right now, and that is to three-peat. You guys can pause it, read the rest of that, Steve. But I love Nick Bolton, and this is why I love Nick Bolton. He's all business. He's not worried about money. He's not worried about contracts. He's worried about getting a three-peat and bringing another ring championship back to the kingdom.
Absolutely. They have to figure out how to pay this guy after the season's over. That's why this question was brought up. Do you want to go ahead and get the extension done now?
Yeah.
But Nick Bolton, he said all the right things, man. I'm not worried about that right now. We're trying to make history here and be the first team to ever freaking three-peat, Mike. He's not worried about that money. I do think he's going to get paid by the Chiefs, though, because Nick Bolton seems like the team player that'll take a decent contract to stick around with Kansas City. I think he could be here long term.
Look, some of the old heads around here, the talking heads in Chiefs Kingdom, they like to get on X, they get on everywhere, and they try to tell you that Nick Bolton's no good. Nick Bolton can be replaced. Nick Bolton's just not worth money, blah, blah, blah. I'm a Nick Bolton fan. I think if anybody watches the way that dude, just watch the way he could shut up Derrick Henry. Just watch it. Look, he's not the greatest in pass coverage. I get it. That's not his game, but he is solid. He has been a solid pro since he stepped in. And I like his character, and I like the way he's been. I think he said everything well there. And going on, he asked him one other question I'd like to bring up. He said, "We love your mindset. What did you see from rookies like Worthy and Kingsley throughout mandatory minicamp? You have some exciting rookies on this team, Steve." And check out what he says. "We have a tight end named Jared Wiley, who looks like a great red zone target. He's a great route runner that already understands spacing. That's impressive considering he's yet to play a game in this league. He understands concepts and finds ways to get open. He's in the right place at the right time and understands how to dominate his leverage. He's legit 6'8". Once you get the ball in his vicinity, he's going to come down with it." He also went on to say that Xavier Worthy teamed up with Hollywood Brown is going to be super dangerous. But do you like what he had to say about Wiley? Because I think Wiley's going to be a big weapon for us this year.
Dude, you have to love what he said about Wiley because he wasn't even asked about Wiley.
Exactly.
The fact that he was just asked about the rookies and he said, "Hey, hold up on Xavier Worthy. Hold up on Kingsley Suamataia. Let me tell you about this Jared Wiley guy." That's awesome, dude. I like what he's saying. And obviously, it gives us an idea that Jared Wiley, he's already learning a lot from Travis Kelce. He's already learning the spacing. He's running great routes. He's a big, massive guy that catches the ball when it comes his way. You have to be freaking excited about that if you're a Chiefs fan because we're all watching Kelce get older and near the end of his career. And we can all feel a little bit better about that if Jared Wiley's going to be out there whooping ass like Travis Kelce.
Jared Wiley was drafted to play the Jody Fortson role, and let's hope he don't have the injury concerns. And look, Noah Gray's still going to have a good season. He's going to fight his way on the team. It's Irv Smith that's going to have a problem here. Are they going to take that fourth tight end? Are they going to go with Crocky J? What are they going to do? I have no idea, and that's what makes camp so fun, and it's coming up in 3 weeks.
Hey ye, hey ye! It's time for Beyond the Kingdom.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Hear ye. Today we're going to kick it right on off with the Eagles corner. Darius Slay says he believes the Browns wide receiver Amari Cooper is the most underappreciated receiver in the league. Steve, does he have a point? Because people do not talk about Amari Cooper as being one of the elite receivers anymore, and it's because he's up there with the Browns and Wacker.
Well, he is a guy that had like some seasons here and there in between a lot of elite seasons. But if you go back 2015 to 2023, he has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1,000-yard seasons in that span. So 6 of 8 seasons, he's well over 1,000 yards. I think I kind of agree with him that the fact that a lot of people look over Amari Cooper when they're talking about elite receivers, because it sure looks like he puts up elite numbers when he's healthy and on the field.
He does. He played with Dak there for the longest time. They put up numbers. He's put up with Cleveland pretty well. I think he's got a few more years left in the tank. He's been in the league, 8, 9 years? He's probably coming up on a new contract here. And the way receivers are getting paid, this dude's going to get flat out paid. But I kind of agree with Darius Slay right there. I think Amari Cooper doesn't get enough credit. Moving on, Justin Herbert lauds Ladd McConkey. He says rookie wide receiver Ladd McConkey has been like 4 or a 5-year vet. Steve, I said this. I'm a receiver whisperer. This is what I do, is look at receivers. And I told you that Ladd McConkey was the best route running guy in this entire class, and that coming in, He is going to play like a veteran, and he is going to be a top 25, 30 route runner on day one. And the only other guy that would get close, Ricky Pearsall over in San Francisco.
Mike, you weren't telling me nothing because I was right there with you saying that Ladd McConkey was the most pro-ready receiver in that entire draft.
McConkey.
Did the Chiefs screw up by letting division rival get him?
Yeah.
We took Xavier Worthy and let him fall back down to the Chargers, who is a divisional rival, who does have a lot of players, like young players. They went and got Quentin Johnston, and they also have a new coach trying to scheme up a lot of new things. I think Ladd McConkey is going to be a good piece for that team. And I think Xavier Worthy is going to prove them wrong, though. I think he's going to go out there and set the world on fire, too. So,
yeah, look, I had Ladd McConkey rated just slightly above Xavier Worthy, but I'm holding out hope that Xavier Worthy is what the Chiefs needed to kickstart this offense. More Browns news, Steve. We're sad to announce the passing of our beloved mascot, SJ. We're so grateful for his many years of loyal support and cherish all the wonderful memories he helped create for the fans, young and old. Look at SJ. Look at that good boy.
Man, that sucks. That's sad. That's sad news. Condolences to the Cleveland Browns fans out there, because that does suck, man.
So, look, SJ, they put 2018 to 24. Was that just with the team? That seems very young for a dog's full life. This has to just be with the team, right?
Team as a mascot, yes.
Hopefully he had a good life there. Last one of the day. Where would the NFL's top stars land if all active players were up for grabs in a draft? Chad Reuter actually went through a 7-round mock in which all 32 teams looked to assemble a win-now core of talent. Steve, of course, Patrick Mahomes is going number 1. If you're setting number 2, who are you taking?
Dude, it's absolutely insane that there are probably people out there that will try to argue with you that they wouldn't take Patrick Mahomes number 1.
They're slap nuts and they're wrong.
I'm going to tell you, it's one of two things. Either they're full of shit and they're a hater, or they're absolutely ignorant when it comes to football. Patrick
100%.
Mahomes is hands down the number 1 pick in that scenario. If I was going number 2, you got to stick with the QBs, Mike. I think you have an argument to take Josh Allen. You have an argument to take Joe Burrow or whatever quarterback you think that could come in and even slightly try to compete with Patrick Mahomes.
Tim McGraw or Macaulay Culkin? Which one you going with?
Macaulay Culkin.
Dang. You're not drafting the number 2 overall, are you?
No, I don't know who I would take, to be honest, but I know Patrick Mahomes is number 1, and we have that guy on our team in Kansas City, so got to love it, baby.
Yeah, don't really care who they take.
That time's yours.
Time's yours, Chiefs Kingdom. We released our last video on Monday. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. This is the thumbnail. You can go find it. It's got Spags and Justin Simmons over there from the Broncos, the safety. New weapon. There was a lot of sports writers trying to match him with a lot of teams, and the Chiefs kept coming up number 1 on the list. So we talked about that. So go over there and watch that if you haven't already. But let's get to some comments here. Mike Johnson says, great cast, guys. Off season is a tough time for content, and you guys keep it fun and interesting. Great job. Go Chiefs. 3-peat, baby. Mike Johnson, Steve, giving us a little gas for the segment.
Let's go, baby. Thanks for the gas.
Thanks for the gas. Got to get through it. Here we go. Brenda Pike. Excellent, guys. No, we don't need Simmons. We're good in the DB room. Lions are good, but don't think they are great. Need to get some things together maybe in a few years. Definitely off-season sucks. Squirt needs to get a different opinion. Thanks, guys. See, Brenda's working out Squirt for you there. He was coming at you hard last episode.
Brenda touched on a lot of subjects there. Yes, we don't have to have Simmons. We're great in the safety room. Absolutely. Right. Don't need him. Also, we had talked about the Detroit Lions being called the most stacked offense in the NFL in that episode as well. She seems to think they have a little bit of ways to go. I do too. They're very young. And then, of course, Squirt came at me for no reason.
He come at you because you said podcast for that ass.
Right. He made some false accusations and everything. But you know what, Squidward, we still love you. It's cool.
Still love you, brother. Moving on. Alex in the house. Love this episode. You guys keep this off-season fun. Steve, that's a third comment that says we keep the off-season fun. And you know what? That is our goal at All Chiefed Up. So if you haven't, hit the sub button already. And here we go. Last one. Pradipang. I don't know and I'm sorry, but he says, love from India. And that would make sense as to why I cannot say that name. Appreciate you being here, brother. How is the Chiefs CB room looking after Snead transfer? Is there enough weapons in the backfield? He was a beast in last year's playoffs. Yes, Steve, Snead was a beast, But there were some other beasts in last year's playoffs, too. If you look at Chamari Connor, you look at Josh Williams, all scored very high according to PFF.
Right. Our cornerback room, Mike, we've talked about it a few times, but they're very loaded. We got a lot of good young talent in there. Trent McDuffie is still going to be Trent McDuffie. Joshua Williams looked absolutely excellent in the postseason last year. You got Jalen Watson, who is right up there with L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie when it came to coverage last season. And then, of course, you got Chamari Connor, who can slide down and play that nickel corner position. Then we still have other guys that we haven't talked about, like Nick Jones, Nazeeh Johnson, the guy we drafted, Kamal Haddon, Kelvin Joseph's out there trying to fight to make this team. There are a lot of good pieces there, and I think that L'Jarius Sneed is going to be a fine player with the Titans, but I don't think he's going to be as effective with them as he was with the Chiefs and Spag system, so I think we'll be just fine.
Right. Spag system done a lot, and I think it's going to do a lot for some other guys that are coming up right now. And I cannot wait to see how Nazeeh Johnson comes back from that knee injury. Cannot see how Nick Jones responds after being injured a lot of his rookie season. And then, of course, Kamal Haddon. We both loved him coming out of Tennessee. If he would have been healthy, he could have been drafted in the 3rd, 4th round, and we got him all the way down in the 6th. So looking forward to that. And then plus you mentioned Kelvin Joseph. That was a 2nd-round pick at one point. That kid could maybe play. Maybe he surprises a few people. But the last thing before we head out of here, Steve, PFF says the top 10 AFC offensive lines, and they throw the Chiefs at numero 4.
You know what's awesome? 4. I actually saw a graphic from PFF that was the top 10 of the entire NFL and had the Chiefs at number 5. So in the entire NFL, they think 5, 4 in the AFC.
I'm not getting down with this, though, because in my opinion, the New York Jets do not have a better offensive line than the Chiefs. They needed so much tackle help coming into the offseason. And I know they got Tyron Smith from Dallas. And that's then huge, I know they drafted one too. I'm not for sure 100%. But come on, I just don't think it's as solid as our interior, man. With Tooney, Creed Humphrey, and Trey Smith. And Jawan Taylor is going to have a big year coming back. Our weakest link is that left tackle, and it's because of youth. But these guys are going to get it together because I believe Kingsley and Wanye are both gamers, and they will figure this out.
Absolutely. Super excited about our offensive line. Who better to have to protect the best player to ever play football?
The greatest.
The greatest.
The greatest.
Of all time. Appreciate you hitting that like button, the subscribe button, and the bell. We'll catch you next time.
Go Chiefs.